Coming up at First at 5, we're taking a live look at a video protest ramping up, and lawmakers are reacting quickly.
Plus, sea-breeze thunderstorms have been popping up all over north central Florida. I'll have more for you this evening.
And over 200 people are dead after plane crashes after only being in the air for 5 minutes. The investigation into what caused the plane to go down so quickly. WUFT's First at 5 starts now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
As ICE protests continue across the country, criticism of the president's response in Los Angeles is ramping up. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Isis Snow.
And I'm Avlonitis. As Washington prepares for the president's military parade, lawmakers from both parties question the event's optics and its hefty price tag. Ryan Nobles details it all from Washington.
Across the country, thousands are turning out to protest deportation raids, with hundreds leaving in handcuffs. Overnight, demonstrations turning violent in Washington state, police using flashbangs to disperse crowds. The protests, which began in Los Angeles, now spreading coast to coast. President Trump defending his call to send in Marines and National Guard to California to rein in demonstrators.
If I see problems brewing, if they're not going to do the problem, I'm not going to wait 2 weeks.
The debate over the president's hardline immigration policies boiling over on Capitol Hill. Today, Democratic governors from states with sanctuary cities sparring with lawmakers on how they're managing an influx of undocumented migrants. Republicans going after their own state leaders.
We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers.
Rather than going after the viral moment, I suggest you look at the facts.
The show of force in cities across the country happening as the nation's capital prepares for a military parade to mark the Army's 250th birthday, which also happens to be Donald Trump's 79th birthday. Tanks are staged along the parade route in Washington, D.C., and today the Army showed off air power that will fly over spectators. Several protests are planned throughout the area, and President Trump warned any protesters at the parade will face a, quote, very heavy force. Organizers for permitted demonstrations say they will not be intimidated.
We will be permitted, we will be nonviolent, we will not be provoked, but we will be in the streets, we will be marching, and we will be heard.
And even some Republicans are questioning both the optics and the price tag of this massive parade, which estimates are somewhere in the range of $45 million. Both House Speaker Mike Johnson and the Senate Majority Leader John Thune say they won't be at the parade on Saturday because they have conflicts. Ryan Nobles, NBC News, Washington.
A new program is in motion to keep ICE agents safe from protesters. According to Florida Attorney General James Uthmire, the program will protect ICE from people trying to intimidate them by releasing their personal information. Rioting was made illegal in Florida in 2021. Uthmire says Florida will not tolerate rioting and violent protesters will be held accountable.
Enjoy the sun while you can, because it will not be out for much longer. UF forecaster Reben is live in the weather studio, timing out when the dark skies will settle over north central Florida.
Now, I want to put emphasis on the more so Columbia, the Suwannee, the Lafayette County, as they're seeing lightning bolts and storms in their area. The lightning indicates storms, the light green indicating light rain, and the red indicating heavier rain. But they're not the only ones seeing showers in their area. Bottom of Alachua County, bottom of Levy County, they are also seeing showers in their area. Now, let's take a look at our tonight. So, for the most part, going into our hourly, as the night goes on, the chances of showers and storms are going to decrease. The chances will go down along with the temperature. Coming up, I'll have more for you about the evening storms. It feels like 100 degrees outside because of the heat index, and stormy end of the week.
Nearly a decade has passed since an armed man opened fire at a gay nightclub in Orlando. The community continues to come together in memorializing the 49 people killed in 2016. On Thursday, Orlando marks the 9th anniversary of one of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history at Pulse. Designs for a memorial are being reviewed, with plans for a reflection space, a survivor's tribute wall, and a walkway with columns honoring the victims on rainbow glass panels. The building that housed the nightclub will be demolished. Construction is set to start next June and should be finished by the end of 2027.
It's very heartbreaking to know that my son took his last breath right there within that that small space that so many kids died that night.
Governor Ron DeSantis ordered the flags to be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset on Thursday in honor of Pulse Remembrance Day.
What was supposed to be a fun family snorkeling trip on the Florida coast took a dark turn. A 9-year-old girl was attacked by a bull shark Wednesday in Boca Grande waters. She suffered severe injuries, and as CNN's Lacey Lee reports, witnesses say it looked like the shark bit off her hand.
So it was a big shark, like 8 feet. I would say like 8 feet.
For Alfonso Tello and his co-workers, Wednesday's shark attack is something they can't get out of their heads. They jumped in the Gulf, a longshore lane in Boca Grande, not knowing a shark attacked a girl.
I was like thinking that they were playing around, but when they hear like they screaming like help, help, that's what we get after, and we will see the little girl crying. So when we see that little girl coming out from the water with no hand, it was like something out like
Wow.
gets me like everybody was in shock.
The girl's injuries so severe she had to be flown to Tampa Hospital. Swimmers say this is why they stay close to the shore.
So you have to be careful, keep an eye out. How sad. That is very sad, and I feel so bad for the family and that poor child.
I did try to help him. I started training up after that because I see that when you see something like that, it's like, but like I said, the good things is they showed up really fast, and the little girl was like calm.
The girl's family says she underwent a long surgery after being airlifted to the hospital. She will remain in recovery for a while.
It's not every day you see a superhero, but when a Fort Lauderdale man found a 6-year-old drowning in a nearby pool, he took action. And as Ted Scouten reports, the rescue was all captured on video.
It's so difficult to watch as 6-year-old Oscar goes under and struggles for air. Roque Ivan Ocampo heard screaming. He ran to help, tossing his shoes and diving into the deep end. He pulled Oscar to the surface. Someone helped get him out of the water, and he quickly began life-saving measures.
So I started doing the CPRs, and the kid wasn't breathing, but I keep doing it until he started breathing again.
Can you squeeze my hand, buddy?
Let's go.
Yeah. You're good, buddy. You're doing good, okay?
Body cam video shows when police took over. Carrying the child in their arms, an officer runs to arriving paramedics.
He's breathing, he's just not conscious.
The little boy survived, thanks to a stranger who performed CPR.
I don't feel like a hero. I just did what I have to do, and I feel good. I'm like blessed to be able to help this kid.
Experts stress the life-saving benefits of administering CPR, even if you're not an expert.
It's better to do bad CPR than no CPR at all.
The Red Cross is also has classes in many cities for a small fee. You can also learn the basics in an online class.
Ahead, when First at 5 returns, leaders making stops across Alachua County to get neighbors prepared for hurricane season, where they are headed to next.
And hundreds killed after an Air India plane goes down. The spotlight the crash is now putting back on travel safety.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
13 hours ago, a plane headed to London crashed, leaving only one survivor. And the deadly Air India crash put summer travel safety back under scrutiny.
And Boeing's track record under another harsh spotlight. Karen Kaifa takes a look at how the disaster is impacting the airline industry.
This is a difficult day for all of us at Air India.
The CEO of Air India says investigations into what caused a London-bound flight to crash shortly after takeoff from the western India city of Ahmedabad will take time. Meanwhile, the deadly crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner will put the American aerospace giant and the aircraft under greater scrutiny.
This is a devastating setback for the company.
The Dreamliner debuted in 2011 and got off to a rough start. In 2013, the FAA initiated a global Dreamliner grounding over fire risk associated with battery failures. But the Dreamliner had never experienced a fatal crash until Thursday.
It's never had a crash that involved fatalities, and it is a highly automated aircraft.
Boeing said in a statement they were in contact with Air India and ready to support the airline. The company has been mired in a years-long quality control control crisis, including 2 deadly crashes of its 737 MAX plane in 2018 and 2019. Before the crash on Wednesday, members of a Senate panel asked President Donald Trump's nominee to lead the Federal Aviation Administration how he'd hold Boeing accountable for safety.
I look forward to advancing our certification technologies, processes, employee development around certification, and certainly holding Boeing accountable.
The crash also putting air safety back in the spotlight as the summer travel season heats up in the U.S. And less than 6 months after an Army helicopter collided with American Airlines Flight 5342 on approach to Washington's Reagan National Airport, leaving 67 people dead. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
In radar, sea breeze thunderstorms are popping up all over north central Florida. I'll have more for you after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Hurricane season is underway and Alachua County Emergency Management says they are here to keep you prepared. It's hosting a hurricane season kickoff to educate the community on storm safety tips. The purpose of the kickoff is to teach essential preparedness tips with flavors provided by local breweries. The event will be held on Saturday, June 14th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Blackadder Brewing Company. The first 100 attendants to register for emergency text alerts will receive a limited edition pint glass. To register, text Alachua to the number on your screen. Should I keep an umbrella in my hurricane prep kit?
You might need a little bit more for preparing for a hurricane, but I know I've been putting mine to good use this past couple days.
That is smart, Maria. As with the hurricane season coming, there is a hurricane potentially coming to us. If there is going to be a hurricane, the name of that hurricane would be Andrea. Now, let's take a look at tomorrow. So for the most part, it's expected to be early clouds, cloudy going into the morning and the afternoon time, but there is a chance of a storm coming that evening time towards more 4 p.m. But the temperature will be steadily increasing. Now, let's put a little bit of an emphasis on Central Florida. They are seeing a good amount of showers and storms in their area, more so towards that Orlando, below Marion County area. So for the most part, they could be seeing showers and storms coming through their area right now. All right, let's take a look on campus. It says it's 96 degrees, but trust me, it feels hotter. It feels closer to 100 degrees outside, as over the past 24 hours, it has rained about 35 inches, about 0.35 inches. Now, let's take a look at these temperatures. It says 95, so it's reflective of what we see on campus. 95 for Gainesville, 94 for Ocala. 90s and high 80s are right now in Florida, but the heat index, it says 100 for Gainesville, because that's what it truly feels like. So for the most part, it says mid to low 90s, but it feels closer to like 99 in Ocala. Now, the estimated rainfall over the next 2 days. This is going into Friday. So it's about expected inch of rain in the Alachua County, about half an inch in Marion County. Levy, they are expected to see about half an inch. This is welcomed as it feels like it's about 100 degrees outside. So a little bit of rain doesn't hurt. Now, let's take a quick look at these futurecasts. They're gonna go over the weekend. Actually, let's take a look at our Friday mornings. The low temperatures are expected to be the 70s and the 90s for Gainesville, and more so the Alachua County. 92 for Gainesville, 93 for Ocala. Now, going into our weekend cast, it is Father's Day. So I have a little bit of bad news for the fathers, as there is a chance there's gonna rain, about an 80% chance about rains and storms on that Sunday. So there's not ruled out that you won't be able to grill, but it's best to maybe stay inside for this Father's Day. Now, let's take a quick look at our 7-day outlook. So for the most part, every single day is expected to rain and storm. And unfortunately, as mentioned, Father's Day, it is expected to rain and storm. Now, but for the most part, it is smart to keep an umbrella in your hurricane prep kit.
Gainesville's Haven Hospice is hosting a kids' grief workshop this month. The organization's flyer says it's to help children find comfort and healing in a supporting place. The event is on Saturday, June 28th at 10 a.m. You can register for the free event by emailing the address on your screen. Organizers say space is limited and lunch is provided.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Macy Meis. Gators track and field travel to Eugene, Oregon to compete in the NCAA Outdoor Championships. Florida has been training for about 2 weeks since qualifying in the NCAA Outdoor East preliminaries. Head coach Mike Holloway spoke in a press conference in Oregon, expressing his excitement for the competition ahead.
I've never been to a bad meet here, and I don't expect this one to be a bad one either. I think that when you look across the board, the number of great teams and individuals here is at an all-time high, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this. Let's just call it a party this weekend. I'm looking forward to being a part of it.
The Gators brought 19 entries to the championships, 11 from the women's team and 8 from the men's. The men competed yesterday, and 2 events will move on for a second day on Friday. Malcolm Clemens earned the title of national champion of the men's long jump. Over in throws, Lykel Cabrera-Gay earned second place in the men's javelin throw. The women's team began competition today, and their qualifying entries will compete again on Saturday. T-minus 79 days until kickoff in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Florida Gators football concluded their 3rd round of official visits this summer, this past weekend. Since Sunday, 3 prospects have committed to the University of Florida. 3-star offensive tackle Chancellor Campbell from St. Petersburg announced his commitment on Sunday. 4-star wide receiver Justin Williams also announced on Sunday that his talents are staying at home. Williams is a Gainesville native currently playing at Buchholz High School. And Kekua Amua announced his commitment on Monday. Amua is a 3-star tight end originally from Kahuku, Hawaii. Per 24/7 Sports, the Gators class of 2026 recruiting class is ranked 50th due to its lack of volume. At this time last year, Florida had a similar ranking before securing a strong class of 2025, ranked 7th nationally. Prospects will continue to cycle through Gainesville, the 4th round of official visits happening this weekend, and about 20 recruits are coming into town. Announced today by ESPN, Florida men's basketball will visit Duke in the ACC-SEC Challenge at the beginning of December. This is the first time Florida and Duke will meet since November of 2017. There will be 16 matchups throughout the 2 days of the challenge. Some other notable matchups would be between North Carolina and Kentucky, Clemson and Alabama, Virginia and Texas, and Tennessee and Syracuse. The 32 teams partaking in the challenge will take the court at the beginning of December. And before we go, the Panthers and Oilers will take the ice for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Cats lead the series 2-1, looking to end the night with another win tonight. And it will go down tonight at 8 p.m. in Sunrise. Stay tuned for one final check with the weather after the break.
Let's take one last look at the 7-day outlook. It looks to be showers and storms for the most part all throughout the week, but I do have bad news for the fathers on Father's Day. The day that Father's Day is Sunday is the most likely chance for showers and storms in Gainesville.
Thanks for keeping us updated, Reuben, and thank you everyone for joining us here tonight. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.